Hello and welcome to episode numero uno of the Get Real Gaming Podcast, the show where we get real talking about the latest video game news and releases. I'm Richard, and with me is my next-gen co-host, Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence.
Hi. How you doing? You're stumbling over your words there, aren't you?
A little bit. I'm just so excited.
Yeah,
so excited. And it's fine.
I'd like to clarify, if this is okay with you, Richard. I'd like to clarify to the viewers. This is the second time we've been doing this.
It is, but that is only from technical difficulties, and
yeah.
That's what happens when you start a podcast. These things happen.
I mean, we've done a few creative what's the word I'm looking for? Creative
endeavors
together. Yeah, endeavors.
Voyages.
And before we introduce ourselves, let's get this out of the way. I'd like to give a big thank out to Sam and Chris on the Get Real podcast.
Yes.
The Big Mama podcast.
Yeah, so if you're into movies and TV shows, then our big brother podcast, Get Real, is the podcast for you. But most likely you're listening to us from that podcast. So thanks again to two of our best mates, Sam and Chris, for running that one. And we are your gaming side of things. So if you're into video games news, streaming, esports, VR, anything like that, we're the show for that. So, and we'll probably have Sam and Chris on at some point.
What about board games? Do we do board games as well? Because I like a bit of Monopoly.
Yeah, we can do board games as well. Go on then.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so who are we? And why should you be listening to us talk about video games?
I don't know. Who are we? Who actually are we?
Yeah, so me and Lawrence, we've both been playing video games since very young, like 5 or something. I think one of my earliest memories is playing Super Mario Brothers with my dad on the SNES in his bedroom, and that's very nice. And he's had the Amiga, the Commodore, we've had the SNES, N64, we've had all of the Nintendo ones. We've had the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U, the Switch. We've also had the Game Boys, Game Boy Color. We've had the DS, the DS Lite, 3DS. I've had loads of them. I've had loads of the Nintendo bunch.
It doesn't sound like you've had enough, personally.
I mean, I had far more than enough to go around. There were 2 GameCubes in my mum and dad's house at the time. One of them was mine, and one of them was my dad's. There was no multiplayer, and other than locally, so there was no point other than the fact that I had my own one in my bedroom. So. And then, PlayStation-wise, I had a PS1, PS2. My dad had a PS3. I have my own PS4. Currently not looking at getting a PS5, but I know you are, Lawrence.
Shall I come back later while you list this all off? Shall I just...
Yeah. I'll round up.
Shall I go make a brew?
Yeah,
okay,
go on, off you go.
I'll make a brew. Right.
All right. In my house, when I was with my mum and dad, I also had Xbox Crystal. I had my own 360. Had my own Xbox One. So, and then I have a PC. So I have a 1070 Ti graphics card. That's my credentials anyway. So that's me. I play video games. What about you, Lawrence? Have you made your brew yet?
Yeah, I'm back. I've got my brew.
Yeah, sorry. I was just...
Got myself a hobnob as well.
Just keeping the audio waves warm.
That's good. Warm? Sounds like a bit of a Cold War out there.
So yes, very much so. But before we segue into that, maybe.
Well, my credentials.
Yeah.
When I was a young warthog. It's a whole different film. I started out with a Super Nintendo. At the age of 4, and then I got into a PlayStation 1, and a very cherished memory is Christmas Day. Plugged in my PlayStation 1 and got my backside completely destroyed by my father on Tekken 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, not fun. Anyway,
Tekken was so good on the PS2.
It was really damn good. But I remember I had a PC again when it didn't even have Windows on it. It had DOS.
Oh my goodness!
I had a load of games preloaded on it when I was like 5 or 6. And I just continued to, gather the consoles. Original Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Wii U. I
feel sorry for you
Switch.
about the Wii U, by the way.
It's fine.
Spend money on that.
I managed to find a way. The only console I've not had, which is the one I've always wanted and still do to this day, is the Nintendo 64. I've always wanted the Nintendo 64. But yes, I currently I'm a PlayStation 4 and PC gamer. Mainly PC. I'm currently going through a build.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I'm currently going through an upgrade. I'm
Mhm.
getting the new RTX 3070 graphics
Yes.
card.
As well as the new PS5 when it comes out.
Yes, well, the PlayStation 5, I'm gonna wait to get the PlayStation 5 like yourself.
Mm.
I've also discovered, because I just fitted my very first water cooler. It is the NZX Kraken. It is a pain in the backside to do.
What did you have to?
It's
Was
not
it
coming
not
out.
all one sealed? Was it not sealed? A sealed unit that you just stuck?
That's the issue.
Why is that an issue?
Because it's all sealed. I couldn't control where the cables were going. So I kind of had to wrangle it and just shove it in and screw it in. And me and the girlfriend had a very lovely time trying to get that in. But it's in now. It works.
It's good though, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah.
I love that. I have the same sort of water, like all-in-one kind of pre-made, like the two loops that just go between a fan and the CPU. I think that's really nice. I think that's a good way to do it if you're not the kind of person who wants to build your own loop. It's really nice. So basically, what we're saying, Lawrence, is in general.
Well, hang on. We've got two credentials here as well that neither of us have failed to mention.
But what have we forgotten to mention?
Well, we've worked in game retail, and
we've both worked there. Yeah,
I have a degree in game development, and I know that you're a coder in Unity.
Yeah, I do a bit of Unity coding, and it's really mainly just from my dad. My dad is a game programmer as well, and he's very VR focused at the moment. So there's a lot of VR going on. He's very on the fringe of VR. So
speaking of VR, we've got VR headsets.
What we're trying to say in general, though, is if you're listening to us ramble still, is that we love video games and we play video games across all spectrums. It doesn't matter what box 5 master race it comes in. We're happy. As long as the games are good. And so
Is that no film?
It
Box
is.
5 Master Race.
That's it, yeah. And so, so basically, we're going to be talking about gaming news and games from all across the spectrum. So if you're just a fan of video games like us, you're probably going to enjoy listening to us ramble. So Lawrence, now that we've told everyone our credentials, what have you been playing this week?
Well, my latest addiction is a game that I was addicted to when it first came out.
Okay.
It was Persona 5 Royale on the PlayStation 4.
That sounds complicated. Tell me more.
Basically, Persona 5 Royale is the enhanced edition of Persona 5 in the long line of Persona games.
I wanted you to make this simpler for me to understand, but you haven't. So
it is a JRPG where stands Japanese role-playing game where you play as a high school student that is a juvenile because this nasty man decided to sue you when you try to stand up for a woman, and you basically half of it is living your life in Tokyo, which is been modeled from actual Tokyo. So if like me, I've never been to Japan, it's really, really great. And the other half is you have these monsters which you can control and help you fight against other monsters, and you go into other people's subconscious and try and change their heart, as it were, which is changing someone's cognition. And it goes into very deep, like scientific stuff about mental health and all that stuff. And every kind of confidant, it's like you got like the party is called confidants. It kind of they've all got different side stories and stuff like that, and you learn from that as you go through the game. And you've got all these stats, social stats and battle stats, and there's a lot. And it's very good.
But it's not a new game, is it? It's quite...
No, because it's the enhanced edition of Persona 5, which came out for PlayStation 3 as well.
That's how old it is. There you go.
That's how old it is.
Yeah.
But it is, I would class it as possibly one of, if not the best RPG of this era.
Right.
Excluding obvious releases in the next few weeks.
Yeah. And what else have you been playing? Have you played anything else?
No, not really. No, not really. I can't think of anything.
No.
What about you?
Nothing at all. Can't think of anything.
No. It's a bit chilly in here, actually.
It is a bit chilly. Some might say a bit frosty.
Frosty?
Getting frosty.
Am I getting warmer?
Nope. not at all.
Oh no, I don't think so.
This is a terrible
Me
way
too.
to tell people that we've been playing the Cold War beta, but there you go.
Perfect
The new Call of
segue,
Duty
though.
yeah, well, there you go. We have been playing that. Yeah, we both have. I've also been playing a bit of Rogue Company this week. Been checking that out.
Rogue Company.
Yeah,
I have heard of that.
Yeah, it's a free-to-play third-person tactical shooter by High Res Studios. It's actually really good. It's actually quite fun.
Is it?
Yeah. It's really good. There's a lot of objective-based game modes on some really nice maps, and you basically the main kind of not gimmick, but like special mechanic, I guess, to this third-person shooter is that you can swap shoulders. So you can look over from one shoulder, and then your camera can move to the other shoulder. And so looking around corners and things is quite interesting. There's like a lot of like map based movement and camera switching that's good to learn and get into. So I'm having fun with that. And then also, what else have I been playing this week? Honestly, I think the Cold War beta has been this weekend's been the bigger.
It has kind of dominated our kind of feed.
Yeah.
Hasn't it?
I've been playing Genshin Impact as well a bit this week.
Oh, yeah, I remember you showing us that when we were installing Cold War.
Yeah, it is what it
Funnily
is.
enough.
Honestly. So yeah, it's just kind of a bit. It's like it looks like Breath of the Wild, but it's a gacha game, which basically means it's a free-to-play game that wants to make you spend money on like extra things like characters and stuff, and it requires at some point it gets really grindy to the point where you feel like you have to make a purchase. But I mean, I haven't spent any money on it yet. I don't think I actually will because I'm not that into it. But there's a co-op side of it, so you can go and do world bosses together and things. So it's kind of fun.
That's pretty cool. And of course, we have our D&D campaign to look forward to as well.
Oh, are we talking about board games as well now?
We've got to talk about board game. It's a game, innit?
Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah. What do we think about the Cold War beta?
Well, it's pretty good, isn't it?
I think it's pretty all right. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. But
what game is?
No, there isn't. But it's been nice actually. We had a little bit of news that obviously it'll be all over by the time you're listening to this. But the players, some players got emails and there were some secret codes and stuff, and they extended the beta, didn't they? Because some codes were worked out and stuff, and they said, okay,
cracked the code,
get more time on the beta, and that's quite nice.
It's always nice when game companies do that kind of thing and get the community involved.
And you hated the health bars at first.
When I first saw it, I hate the health bars and I like them. Don't judge me.
Yeah,
I can change my mind. I'm a human being.
That's true. And we like most of the maps.
Most of them. Some of them need a tweak.
Yeah.
Or 5.
But there you go.
20.
It's Call of Duty. And what do you expect? It's another Call of Duty.
I expect boots on the ground gameplay. That's what I expect.
Well, that's what you're going to get, son.
Oh,
and I'm excited to try the zombies again. That's going to be fun. So.
Yes. Because I unpopular opinion, I didn't like zombies ever. So I'm hoping this time it might change my mind.
If anyone's going to do a good job on it, it's Treyarch. So I reckon they'll probably have worked hard and listened to a lot of feedback, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say more because I think it's just one of those things we're going to have to wait and see.
I mean, we could do a whole podcast on it.
We actually could, probably, yeah. So
we could. It's true.
Let's just ramble.
We're not going to, but we could do.
No, because we've got other things to talk about, don't we, Lawrence?
We do.
Well, why don't we start talking about some other things? Let's go.
Like what?
Let's go straight into the next section of the show.
Yeah.
The news roundup.
News round?
News roundup.
No, we talk about news round. I need a suit now.
Oh, no. Okay, so Lawrence, what is the first thing on the news?
I'm getting my suit on. Hang on.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Get me suit. Get me suit.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I'm back. Let's go.
What's the first thing we're talking about today, Lawrence, in the news?
Apparently, Bethesda. You know Bethesda, right?
I do know Bethesda, yeah.
And you know Microsoft.
I'm aware of Microsoft.
And you know that Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Yeah, well, how much did they spend on Bethesda?
They spent $7.5 billion.
Oh, my God. Can I tell you something about
Bethesda.
that? I was watching another video on this the other day, and the YouTuber called the Ackman very graciously pointed out that is more money than George Lucas sold Star Wars for.
That is as well, isn't it?
It is.
My God.
George Lucas spent $4.05 billion on Disney spent that on Star Wars. And
does he regret it? Probably.
Well, yeah, probably. And now this is even bigger than that. So any news about this going forward is kind of a big deal.
And according to Mr. Phil Spencer,
Oh yeah,
you know Mr. Phil Spencer. You know
yeah.
Phil Spencer. He's a
He's
really
the
nice
head
guy.
of Xbox, isn't he? He's head of Xbox.
He says Microsoft doesn't have to ship any Bethesda game to PlayStation to make back all the money they spent on the deal.
So does that mean he's saying they're going to make enough money anyway, or is he saying that we might not honor PlayStation deals going forward?
I believe that they have said they're going to honor any existing PlayStation deals. After that, we don't know. I imagine they still will, but they can recoup all 7.5 billion just for selling on like Xbox and PC.
That is kind of crazy, but also I believe it because I have actually been playing Elder Scrolls Online a little bit, and so they've just had a really big event.
You didn't mention that in what you've been playing this week.
Well, I just forgot because if I'd have mentioned everything, and I've also said, oh yeah, well, you know, I also played 2 Point Hospital on the Switch, and I've been playing Matching Dimension on my phone. I don't know. I wasn't going to list off everything I've been playing, Lawrence.
That was the whole point of that segment.
I don't know. I just forgot. Honestly, there's just so much going on. What a week. Anyway, so yeah, I can definitely see them recouping all of that money without needing extra
especially on like PC. Because I mean, Bethesda games are massive on PC.
Yeah, they're massive everywhere. I literally don't think. I mean, but even think about this. That includes like Elder Scrolls Blades on the phone, if anybody even plays that. But there's like, they're in the mobile market as well, even at this point. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they're in every single market possible, and they have deals with PlayStation. So, you know, it's one of those things.
And the question is, do they have deals with PlayStation on like, say, Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield? And if they don't, does that mean they won't? Like, or will it be time released to Xbox? Give PlayStation a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's very interesting that that Phil Spencer has made it a point to make that comment. You know, specifically, that's what makes it interesting. Is that he's actually gone out and said it instead of just because he didn't need to say anything about it. He'd already made a statement saying, you know, oh, we're going to honor our current PlayStation deals. He didn't have to go any further with that. So yeah, very interesting.
But he did.
But he did.
Puts Xbox back in the driving seat, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, Xbox need a little bit of help at the moment, I think, in terms of games and stuff. I mean, when we're talking about game studios as a whole, Microsoft have the power of studios right now. You know, and
100%.
that's what they've been working towards, I think, really more than...
Apparently, they keep buying, like, they're going to keep buying studios and more studios. But we'll cover that in a later pod.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Let's move on to our second news story of the day, Lawrence. This is one that you're the most interested in. I'll let you take lead on this one.
Oh, it's me again.
Oh, it is because this is the one that you really like.
So apparently, you know Watch Dogs.
I mean, yes, I do know Watch Dogs.
You know Ubisoft.
Unfortunately, I do know Ubisoft.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, it's unfortunate. People that don't know, Watch Dogs is a game where you hack stuff in the world, and it's like kind of like GTA with a hacking kind of motif.
I actually bought the season pass for Watch Dogs and then I never actually played it after, so that was a big waste of money. I know it was a big waste of money. It's because I was working a game at the time and I was trying to help him hit the numbers, and you know. So,
well, I mean, I'm getting the Uplay Plus to play all the new Ubisoft stuff, so that's really handy.
Yeah.
The new game, Watch Dogs Legion, is about to drop in 2 weeks ish.
Wow.
And apparently, the game that's about hacking has been hacked by actual hackers.
Excuse me?
You heard. Did I stutter? I did not.
You did not.
So apparently, there is a ransomware gang going by Egregor. They've threatened to leak the source code of Watch Dogs Legion.
That is so typical.
Right?
That is so typical.
Like, a game about hacking gets hacked. You just can't.
It's just you can't help it.
It's too ironic.
It is.
I
really.
I can't.
Did they say how much they are holding it for ransom for?
I don't believe they did. I mean, I imagine it's private negotiations between Ubisoft and this hacker group.
Yeah. So there you go. That's it.
There we go.
Watch Dogs.
That's it.
If a game was to get hacked, it had to be that one.
Right.
Brilliant. But
watch this space. We might have more news.
Yes, we might have to report on that later.
Moving on, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
No. Let's move on. Let's get straight on to the next one. No, that's perfect.
Well, I know this one is more you. I think this one is more
I think
your
so.
news segment.
I mean, I can understand why I'd say that. So, yeah, this is news about the Oculus Quest 2.
I like Oculus.
Yeah, the Quest 2 is the sequel to the Quest 1, the first Quest.
Is it?
Yeah, could you believe that?
I never knew that. No. I couldn't. No.
And my dad's got both the first Quest and the second Quest because he's kind of a bit on, like I said, he's on the fringe with VR stuff. He loves all the new tech. So, and he says it's amazing. He thinks, it's lighter, more responsive. It's visually more impressive, I think. So whatever it is that they'd be doing a good job.
It's almost as if he didn't expect it to be better than the Quest 1.
No, well, exactly. Well, you see, then we run into a couple of issues here. We have a news article from Eurogamer talking about how the Facebook accounts are required to log into the Oculus Quest 2 because, as you know, Lawrence, Oculus is owned by Facebook. And there's a lot of people out there who play VR, Lawrence, who don't have Facebook because you don't have to have Facebook to be alive in the world in 2020 this year. You don't have to be on Facebook to live a life,
It's true. It's very. I can attest to that. You don't need Facebook to live.
You don't.
It's confirmed.
No. So there's people out there who have not got Facebook accounts who bought Quest 2 who got told then that they have to have a Facebook account in order to play. They go, okay, well, you know what? Fine, I'll make a Facebook account. So they go and make a Facebook account. And these days, you need all real personal information, and you need photo ID apparently to get a Facebook account. And yeah, there's people who are setting up new accounts, and then within 24 hours, those brand new accounts are getting blocked and banned off Facebook completely, either for verification reasons or something. And because their Quest 2 is linked to it, yeah, they can no longer use their Quest 2. So they've just bought a brand new Quest 2, made a brand new Facebook account, and all of a sudden they can't use it. It's dead. It's a brick.
That seems very shady. Is there anything that Facebook is doing to kind of rectify the situation?
They did. Facebook have said that they are working, customer support. If you have an issue, you can contact them and they will kind of go through and try and resolve the issues. But I think as far as I'm aware, not everybody is getting help. It's not able to be helped. So some people, even though a lot of people are getting it fixed at this point in time, as of recording, it seems like some people are still locked out and they can't get help. Right. So it's such a messy situation to be in that you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, Facebook, I don't think the Quest would be the same without their money and their research and whatever they put into Oculus. But to really lock people out for the sake of having to make an account on their platform, they're two different businesses, they're two different companies, And so it just seems
it shouldn't be used to kind of as a friends list kind of thing. I don't think that's very fair on the user. It's not very user friendly.
No, I don't think it is at all. So the Quest 2 is good. The account situation is bad. We'll keep you updated if anything else comes up about that.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on, Lawrence. You are going to enjoy this one.
Me again. Oh,
this one is you. Yeah.
It's good, that. You and I both are very good fans of Final Fantasy, even though you've not played Final Fantasy VII Remake. Shame on you.
Yeah.
The second online Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 14, they have added a new patch, which has added a new area called the Bozjan Southern Front. As you and I both know, there's these things in Final Fantasy called chocobos, which are basically oversized chickens.
Yeah, big chickens that you can ride.
Yeah, and they come in, generally they're like yellow chickens.
Yes.
Now, this area has spawned red chocobo.
Oh. That's news in itself, really. For Final Fantasy fans, anybody who's a Final Fantasy fan is going to be like, what the hell do you mean a red chocobo? Anybody else doesn't mean anything. They're just like, well, maybe one just was red one day. They're evolving.
So, according to this article on PC Gamer, the patch also added a new system called Critical Engagements, which lets players queue up for battles where they fight on the behalf of the in-game Bozjan resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those battles are pitting players against a new chocobo called Red Comet. Red Comet.
You have to fight the chocobo.
Yeah, you have to fight a chocobo.
Oh, God.
And apparently it's wrecking players. It's killing players enough that there's dozens of memes. People are getting wiped by red comments. Like this is like a group of let me just count. Let me count the players here. Hang on. 8 players are getting annihilated by this damn chocobo.
Oh my god. And the memes are out of control already by the look of it.
Really? Oh yeah. Like there's Monty Python memes, there's all sorts of memes that left, right, and center. It's not great. It's you could say the chicken has left the nest there and become a monster.
Yeah.
It's the Zelda chickens all over again.
So if you are a Final Fantasy 14 player, please let us know whether or not you are getting slayed by this red chocobo. That'll be quite...
Should we set up a hotline for them?
Yeah,
I feel like we need to set up a hotline.
Maybe we should set up a cold line for them.
A cold line, you say? I think we should set up a next-gen hotline.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. Let's...
Right?
I'm like, this segue is not working, is it?
No,
that's all the news. That's all the news for today. So now we're going to move on to our main topic. And our main topic today, Lawrence, is the Next Generation Showdown.
Next Gen Showdown.
So what are we talking about today, Lawrence?
The Next Gen Showdown?
We're going to be going through the list of games that are going to be coming out on the next gen systems on launch and discuss whether we think Sony or Microsoft have got better lineups. Is that right?
Okay. I believe so.
All right.
It says so in script, so I assume so.
Yeah, that's right. So do we want to start on the PlayStation side? Should we have a look through? Or because I mean, really, we should be looking at what's the same to start with. And I just want to get this out of the way first. I don't know about you, but I don't consider games that are already out launch titles for the next gen systems. There's just so many people who are just like, ooh, Fortnite's on the launch title list for play. Forget Fortnite. It's not a launch title. It's out. It's been out for years. It's not launching with the system, so it's not a launch title. Sorry, I ran over. There's quite a few of those though.
Keep going.
In this list, right, we've got Marvel's Avengers on Xbox on the launch titles, and also Marvel's Avengers on the PlayStation side. Well, they're not launch titles. They've been out. It's been out for like God knows how long. It's dying.
It came out in August. No one's playing it, and no one will still be playing it when it comes out on. Oh, actually, no, they're not launch titles. This is from an article I read. They've been delayed, so cross them out. They're not even on it. They're not even in the launch.
That is ridiculous.
Anyway, and breathe.
Well, that's okay. So yes.
So we're not counting anything that is coming out either before the console launch. So, like, say we've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla here on both consoles, but they're coming out in November. Actually, no, they are launch titles. It's coming out on the same day. Yeah,
I mean the thing is, I believe that we should mention them because it's obviously we need to know what games are coming out on those consoles.
Yes, of course.
But it's you know when we're talking about games that are launching with the console, it's a different list. You know, like
of course. I mean, generally games that launch with the console should kind of be like the benchmark for the console.
Yeah. You know, whenever there's a new console, there's always the same like games coming out.
Yeah.
You know, we'll always see Call of Duty with the new console. We'll always see like a racing game. We'll always see FIFA.
And NFL and NBA and all that.
Yeah. So, and I honestly think last time we were talking about the Xbox, it was like Watch Dogs was even like a launch title or something. Is that right? Was Watch Dogs a launch title?
I believe so. I can't actually remember. My memory's kind of foggy.
I think it was launch window. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like we see Watch Dogs a lot around the time of next gen.
So it seems that the actual like Ubisoft like console release this time around is Assassin's Creed with Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
But should we list them off? Should we list them so everyone can see what we're seeing?
Yeah. Okay. Let's give them the list. So there are games here that also, I mean, again, we're talking about launch titles, but there aren't really, I mean, are there? There's only like a very small handful of games that are only coming out exclusively on launch with these new consoles. Like we're talking about, you know, Miles Morales, the Spider-Man stuff on PlayStation 5. Is that even coming out on PlayStation 4?
I believe it is. I believe it is on PlayStation 4 as well.
So it's not even... You know what I mean?
Well, hang on. Let's list off what's on the PlayStation first, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
So for the PlayStation, we've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Astro's Playroom, which isn't really a game, let's face it. Bugsnax, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, Demon's Souls, Destruction All Stars, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, FIFA, Immortals, Jet the Far Shore, Godfall, Madden, Marvel Avengers. No, not Marvel Avengers. I apologize. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, NBA 2K21, Outriders, Sackboy, A Big Adventure, WRC9, and Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
It seems like a big list, doesn't it?
It does seem like a big list.
It's not a big list when you actually take out all the dupes.
Yeah. And all of the upgrade ones that are like, oh yeah, you can buy it now and then you get a free upgrade, which costs more money. By the way,
yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it's a disgrace.
You have to buy the game at a higher price because you expect to be getting the next gen console and want smart delivery or whatever they're calling it.
I'll buy it at a high price.
Yeah,
stranger.
But I think it's just so confusing to understand what games are actually exclusive and actually new now.
Mm-hmm. So kind of taking out all the dupes and stuff like that, I think it's Bugsnax, Demon's Souls, Devil May Cry 5, Godfall, Sackboy, and obviously Astro's Playroom. So that's 6.
Yeah, and
not even Ratchet and Clank is coming out on the launch title, and that was like the main centerpiece of the PlayStation reveal.
It's not coming out on launch.
It's not coming out on launch, no. I mean, there's Miles Morales, but that's also coming out for PlayStation 4. In fact, I think all of them is coming out for the PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah, and then what is?
I'm not too sure on that.
And then what do we have on the Xbox side of things?
So on the Xbox side of things, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Shock.
Right? I know, who knew? Call of the Sea, Crossfire X, The Falconeer, FIFA 21, Gears Tactics, which I'm pretty sure came out like a few months ago. Immortals, Phoenix Rising, Madden, The Medium, NBA 2K21, Tetris Effect, Outriders, Second Extinction, Watch Dogs, WRC9, and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting.
I'm already seeing the lineup for the Xbox is got more exclusives, as it were.
Is that true?
Launch titles.
Launch exclusives.
Call of the Sea, Crossfire X, Falconeer, Gears, technically, but The Medium, Tetris Effect is on the Xbox.
Yeah.
But I might take that one out because it's a VR.
Right.
Second Extinction, I think, is just on Xbox. And Yakuza as well is technically time next gen exclusive. So you're looking at probably one or two more, not many, but one or two more, launch titles.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting because as far as like the social commentary is going, it's that people are very much on the side of PlayStation also has more going for it, but really when you look at the numbers and stuff, it seems more like the Xbox has got technically more. Whether or not those games are better or not, then I don't know.
The one big thing the Xbox has, which PlayStation has tried to do, PlayStation's kind of brought out the the PS collection, which is all the best like PlayStation 4 games on PlayStation Plus, included with that like online service. The Xbox has got Game Pass, which has been going for the last few months and is infinitely better than what the PlayStation 5 is giving.
And they're also going to be moving into, they're also going to have EA Play as well, aren't they?
Yeah, EA Play. So you got all the EA games as well.
Yeah, so
it's more value for money and it's more consumer friendly than the PlayStation.
Like, what games do we think from the next gen kind of launch window, shall we go with, look like the best ones on both sides of the fence? Because it's difficult to see from all of this confusion of upgrading games, cross-generation games, cross-platform, cross-gen, like, which console has the better? Like, this is a showdown. Like, who's got the better games? Maybe Xbox might have a couple of more from the list looking at it, but are they better? Like, what games are going to really take the cake here for the people looking to buy an next-gen console?
I think out of the two, because I've seen a bit of Godfall, I wasn't impressed with it. Bugsnax looks amazing. But I think the Medium on the Xbox side, the way that it like runs two separate levels at the same time, which you can switch in at any time with no lag or loading or latency issue. That definitely feels a lot more next gen than any of like the launch exclusives, as it were, for the PlayStation.
Is
And
it?
I'm buying a PlayStation 5, so you know.
Is this when we're talking about that? Is that the hardware of the Xbox, or is that the game?
I think I think it is more the game rather than I don't know because I imagine that it could be utilizing the hardware
Yeah,
because
because
this hardware is similar on both sides.
we've seen with the Xbox people running like I saw a Call of Duty YouTuber who was
Mhm.
testing on the backwards compatibility. He was loading up every Call of Duty one by one on backwards compatibility, going into zombies, and then just quick tabbing to the next game and the next game. And it was like a second or two or something between just swapping
Really?
games. And he could have like 12 games running at once, all in the background. And he was just swapping between them whenever whichever one he was fancying. And
That's
it would
mad.
instantly just jump to exactly where he was. Yeah, so
I mean,
on
see
the
that
Xbox, it's hardware wise, that's just
yeah.
insane.
I mean, we've seen the Xbox hardware like with our own two peepers. The issue with the PlayStation is we haven't
Yeah,
kind of seen it in that environment. Like Sony's playing it very close to the chest,
yeah. And we've
and
seen
then
the
the
user
kind of
interface, haven't we?
yeah, and I'm not impressed by it, but
It looks a bit messy, I think. Well, not messy, but like you've got
soulless.
all of the top anything you want to interact with, specifically to do with the games or the store or your profile or things like that, are the
Mhm,
smallest parts of the user interface on the home screen, and they're like kept at the very top of the screen. And then you've
mhm.
got like a much bigger block of stuff to interact with that catches your eye more, all at the bottom related to the store itself and other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
I just don't think it's as user friendly, I guess.
yeah. I mean, looking at the lineup, the actual you know the kind the playing on the nostalgia. You've got the Devil May Cry 5, you've got the Demon Souls. You know, you've got all your old games being able to be ported onto PlayStation 5. Thing is, the Xbox is doing the exact same thing, so that doesn't really give them the unique selling point they need.
No, I mean Xbox is also getting Devil May Cry, by the way.
Yeah, is
So
it? Is it on the?
yeah,
I mean, it's not launching with it, is it? Is it exclusive with Devil May Cry
it's I don't know
on
if
for
it's
PlayStation?
launching exactly on the same day, but it's not a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's just it doesn't seem like considering their actual event when they the reveal of PlayStation 5, I don't think that PlayStation have that punch, that smash hit game that's gonna show off the console. Like Ratchet and Clank would have been the perfect game
yeah,
to show off the console.
yeah.
Well, Xbox has, the first party games coming out, like Crossfire, for example, the Medium as well. That they look fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think they have been playing heavily on the Miles Morales. That's their biggest show
Yeah,
for like the Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's their biggest like, hey, PlayStation, look at how cool we are. We got Spider-Man and look how good he looks. And I mean, yeah, he
well,
looks amazing. So that's probably
the
their biggest.
I've played the original Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Miles Morales looks good, but there's not that much of a leap.
Right. I mean, it's Spider-Man, so you expect the leaps to be pretty far,
I mean,
honestly.
yeah, I mean he can leap pretty far, but in
Yeah.
this case, he's kind of stumbled and fallen short.
Oh my goodness, that is terrible.
I
But I've
know,
got to tell you,
right?
I would probably much rather be playing Spider-Man than Tetris Effect.
Oh,
Quite,
I
you
mean,
know,
Tetris. The thing is, Tetris Effect came out on VR like last year,
mm, yeah.
so it's like, what's that doing here?
Again, we're getting back into that. We're getting back into there are a lot of games that are just like ultimate editions, a lot of upgrading games, and it's hard to even pick out the exclusive stuff. I think
Yeah,
it's less about fighting over exclusives now and more about more fighting over the potential of what's to come. And I think Xbox
yeah,
really have a lot of that in their favor because they have Game Pass and because they
yeah,
have I mean, Halo's been pulled back, man, and it's
yeah,
at the
and rightly
moment,
so, to be perfectly honest.
yeah, rightly so, yeah, definitely. But if they shape that up, I mean, Halo is on the box for the new Xbox. When people were doing the unboxings of the new Series X, the marketing was Halo. And, Power Your Dreams was like the quote that they were like really showing off and displaying. And I think that says a lot about, that was probably already, set in stone and, accepted and put into print way before Halo was delayed. But the fact that they are continuing like that, Halo, the way that they talk about Halo and anything to do with the Xbox and their marketing just shows that if they can sort that out, that's going to be a huge push for them when that comes around. And they've got Game Pass and EA Play in the meantime. And I think PlayStation, they've just got good games that are coming out, but you're not really buying it that much. People still buy PlayStation for the exclusives, but it's becoming less and less because games are becoming less exclusive, just in general.
Yeah, like a lot of games are coming to PC. Like Horizon Zero Dawn for PlayStation 4 is now on PC.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is PC. Obviously, Destiny is. Maneater, Cyberpunk, Call of Duty always has been cross-platform. All the sports games, they're not exclusive to anything. Watch Dogs, like you said, is also not exclusive to anybody.
I think what we've got to take into consideration here is the fact that a lot of their launch, like PlayStation and Xbox's launch titles, have been pushed back because of either obviously the current pandemic happening or the for whatever technical reason or development reason, they've been all pushed back. So like Arcane Studios' Deathloop was meant to be coming out on the PlayStation 5. Like straight off. Like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was also meant to be coming out. For both of them, we've got Cyberpunk. So it's literally a week. Like Cyberpunk comes out a week after all those launches. So do we technically count that as a launch title because it's in the launch window, or do we?
I would consider it a launch window title. I think that it sits. It's not like an exclusive, but it is coming out at the same time as the.
Yeah.
I would consider it, launch window. It's not a launch game, but it's a launch window.
And another thing that we had was when the PlayStation 5 revealed the Unreal Engine 5, that looked amazing. Then we saw the Xbox and that was competing for graphics, and the PC was being laid to the side, and then Nvidia and AMD popped up and just absolutely smashed both consoles out of the park.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of one of those things where we're at this stage where it's like, do we get a PlayStation 5 now, or do I get a PlayStation 5 later, or do I get an Xbox now, or do I get an Xbox later when the games I want to play come out?
Yeah. You won't even be getting a PlayStation for Cyberpunk because you'll be getting it on PC. But, I'm looking at currently like exclusives that are on launch for PlayStation, for instance. And when we're really talking about what games people are actually really interested in playing on launch that are exclusive to PlayStation, I can see Demon's Souls. I can see the Miles Morales. I can see... I really don't think Sackboy. I don't think anybody's buying a PlayStation for Sackboy.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
it.
Know buying for Sackboy.
That's.
But the thing is, like those three things are built on nostalgia. The original Demon's Souls, Little Big Planet, Spider-Man from PlayStation 4. They're built off nostalgia, and it doesn't go far.
And that's literally like those 2-3 games. Those are launch title exclusives for PlayStation that I would consider be the only ones that anyone would be interested in. Because now Ratchet and Clank is launch window, it's not launch. Anything else is 2021 or still to be announced. So, or like we were saying earlier, not exclusive. So, looking at the Xbox side of things now, you see they have a lot of smart delivery games that are kind of like, if you purchase it on the Xbox One, you can play it on the Series X at no additional cost. So they're not really charging you extra. But whether the smart delivery versions of those games are actually more expensive slightly, I'm not sure.
I mean, the PlayStation is doing something very similar, where it's just taking your old games, or PlayStation 4 games, just importing them over.
Yeah.
So that kind of USP, that unique selling point, isn't really viable to either console anymore because they're both doing it.
Yeah. But I mean, now I'm looking for things that are Xbox exclusive that are happening on launch, and currently I'm struggling to even find find on this list things that are super exclusive. Tetris Effect. I don't see anybody buying an Xbox for Tetris Effect.
Call of the Sea, Crossfire X, the Falconeer, and the Medium are all exclusives, it seems. But the thing is, for the Xbox, their exclusives also include PC. So are they actually exclusives, or I mean, this is the thing? Do we have to include that with it?
It's so difficult with Microsoft.
It is very difficult.
But we are trying to make a distinction between the PlayStation and the Xbox here. So maybe we should just consider them still like launched or exclusive for Xbox because they're not on PlayStation.
Yeah, they're exclusive to Microsoft, which is on Xbox on Microsoft. So yeah, they'll be exclusive to the Xbox. So that means we have like 4 exclusives up against what?
No,
4, 5?
Yeah, it's literally the quality of those exclusives matter, obviously. But
Bugsnax is not an exclusive because it's coming out on PC. So that's out the window.
It's difficult. It's a tough one, Lawrence.
It is very difficult, but I mean, like Sackboy, that I thought was just PlayStation 5, is also PlayStation 4.
So it's not even exclusive to PlayStation 5.
It's not even exclusive to PlayStation.
Well,
same with Miles Morales.
Call me a
Miles Morales is coming out for PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's just. I mean, how do we have a showdown like this, Larry? What do people think is more important? Do they think that do people consider exclusives even important anymore? There's so little exclusives that it's almost not even.
There's no point. There's no point listening to it. I think what's now important is where your mate's going, number one, and number two, brand loyalty.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are already on PlayStation will just be on PlayStation. Yeah. They won't be even be bothering.
And the thing is, I think Xbox people for more either moving to PC, because I know we've been talking to Sam about moving over to PC. Or if you're buying the Xbox, it's generally you're a console user. You kind of prefer having it as more in your living room as a media station kind of thing, and you just want to at the end of the day sit on the sofa, get your Xbox controller, and play that. So again, it's more brand loyalty to the Xbox.
I think that brand loyalty does come into play because there's also the backwards compatibility.
Yes,
and I think if you've got a big library of backwards compatibility stuff, or especially if you've got the Game Pass. And that's a lot of backwards compatibility. And, there's a lot of game service still up for classic games. You might still be wanting to play online. And
but I mean, one of the defining features for me, especially as a consumer, for the PlayStation, is the controller. It's the tech in the controller where they said that the triggers would act as if, say you're playing FIFA, you'd feel the vibration as if you were running. Or if you're shooting something in Call of Duty, the trigger would lock, so it's actually like a handgun trigger, and that to me is interesting because it's like, how does that work? How do they define that? How real does that make it feel?
Talking about the controllers, people have been doing hands-ons. The Xbox controller doesn't even seem that much different.
I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is.
We'll just slap the same one in the box, boys.
Yeah, it works, lads. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Ain't broke.
It's not broken. Don't fix it.
They could have thrown an Elite one in for everyone was getting new Xbox. That'd have been nice.
I think that would have definitely upped their sales. But PlayStation are to me, if you're gonna get a PlayStation, don't get it launch. Get it later on. The Xbox, if you really love the Xbox, get a PC, or if you've got mates now, stay on Xbox.
So what you're saying, Lawrence, is nobody wins the console showdown. Bugger off and buy a PC and just...
PC wins the showdown, as per usual.
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race.
Screw all you console gamers.
Yeah.
Nobody...
Console peasants.
Piss off. No, I honestly think it's not exclusives that we should be talking about. I think it's just the services and what's to come and what we can expect in the future, really, from each console.
It's definitely kind of buying it for the future, but when you compare the two, the Xbox has got the Game Pass, which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and EA Play on top of that. So you get more games for your buck. But the PlayStation has, a different controller technology, which is, interesting. They've got the PlayStation Plus collection, which gives you all the other the top first party games for a low price. And no doubt that's their answer to the Game Pass.
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of like there's only really two defining features of each console, and it's kind of how, like, what is your situation to go into one of these consoles? If you're into like the exclusivity stuff, or at least the timed exclusivity stuff, I would say go for the PlayStation. Whilst with the Xbox, if you want, if you want something where you can play a lot of games in the living room, old games, and the new titles ported over from PlayStation, I would say go for the Xbox. That's just me personally.
The controller technology stuff in the PlayStation sounds really good, but I hate the position of the thumbsticks. I kind of always have. Not just because I was used to playing an Xbox, but because when when I'm playing PlayStation 4, my thumbs hurt after a while because of where the positions are. It just has never been a comfy position for me to be putting my thumbs on those. And because they're sticking with that sort of design, even though it looks a bit more ergonomic and grippy and stuff, it's really the stretch that the both thumbs have to take on that that becomes a bit difficult for me. So also, how big is the PS5? It's huge.
I was literally about to just bring that up. The size of the console.
Oh my god, you can land a plane on it.
It's the same size as my PC tower.
That is,
like, in terms of height, it's mad.
That is actually kind of insane. And I mean, they obviously done it on purpose, but it's just so out there, the design and stuff.
What are they compensating for?
Well, for the heat, for the noise. The last one
made. There is no noise in the PlayStation 5. Well, they've really taken it seriously.
Well, considering that this one looks like something you can land a plane on, the last PlayStation sounded like
the plane. If you put them on,
if
you put them on at the same time, you could do a whole like Foley sound of an airplane.
You literally could just become a Foley engineer. Just oh my god, the amount of
saying that though, the Xbox's box looks like my PC case in terms of the black just square.
Yeah. Although
they are slowly going back to PC towers.
But it is PC more discreet though as a design. If you look for discreet, then it might be more your thing.
As long as you don't get drunk and mistake it for a mini fridge. Yeah, you should be all right.
You can't open it. So but what games are you looking forward to playing next gen as well? Because this is the other thing as well. It isn't just kind of the games themselves, but it's also the console's ability to power these new games, right? You've also got to be spending money on, like, if you don't have a 4K screen or you don't have like a high refresh rate screen and you want to be playing at 4K 120 hertz or whatever, you're going to struggle buying this new console and then realizing, you've spent $500 on this, but now, you still got a 1080p 60 FPS screen at 22 inches and it's just going to look no different than your old console.
Mm-hmm.
So what games are like really going to take advantage of that? And then are you prepared to continue investing, basically? Because it's not just one upgrade, it's multiple. You have to do multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
And that brings the prices, which we haven't even mentioned yet. We've not even talked about the prices yet.
They're very similar. That's the issue.
Yeah, I think that we have to talk really about the steps here, because we've got the Xbox Series S. That's your lowest price one without some of the 4K stuff.
Yeah.
But all digital, but it is the cheapest one. It's $300. Is that $299?
Yeah, $299. Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Then $399, you've got the all digital PlayStation 5. And there's been a bit of a discussion about, the value of going digital or the not value of going digital, because you're entering into a digital ecosystem where there's no
pre-owns or anything like that.
No pre-owns. There's no wiggle room in terms of pricing. If you go and buy a digital version of the PlayStation 5 for $399, then you are going to be at the hands of Sony's store, where they're just going to be like, yes, we want you to pay 60, 70 quid, $70 for this. And you cannot say no, because you want that game and you haven't got a disk drive to tell us otherwise. So there is that. On both the Xbox Series S as well. I'm not just saying about PlayStation, but I'm saying it as a value thing. I do believe that if you're going digital, the PlayStation 5 is still the way to go, because the digital version of the PlayStation 5 is still as powerful as the the other version of the PlayStation 5 with the Blu-ray drive in there, and there's no difference in terms of hardware other than the Blu-ray drive. So it is still, it fits the sweet spot between the Xboxes nicely while giving you all of the features. But you do have to be aware that if that's the way you're going, you are going to be at the hands and the mercy of the stores that they're tying you into, you know?
So let's start to wrap things up. Let's start to conclude things to our TED Talk.
Yeah, let's see if we can come to some sort of conclusion here in our showdown, because I think
I've got a conclusion for you.
Go on,
okay? It's going to be the best one.
Okay. Don't
get
say
a damn PC.
No,
it's
you
better.
can't say that.
There we go.
Can't say that.
Get it.
People
Get it.
don't. Not everybody wants a PC. You can't say that. Buy a Switch.
Okay.
There you go.
No, don't buy a Switch.
Wait for the 4K.
You can't
Switch.
say that. You can't say that. But in serious talk, go on.
I really think that I know that we've kind of made this a showdown thing, but the answer is way more complicated than just being able to pick one. I think that it really is down to what you consider valuable in terms of your setup, what you believe hardware-wise is coming, what games you're interested in playing in terms of any of the very small handful of exclusives is what I think we've come to the conclusion of, is the exclusives are so far and few between that it's almost not even worth worrying about. Your biggest worry is going to be, how much money do I want to spend? Do I want a disc drive or not?
I also think it's worth taking note of what is coming out as well. And keeping an eye on them, and maybe hold off your purchase until later down the line when the game that you want comes out. Otherwise, you're just going to have it sitting there gathering dust. And I don't think this kind of showdown is going to be determined today. I think, maybe a couple of months, we might revisit this topic. And kind of.
You know what, Lawrence? I want your answer now. If we're talking today, if you're based on this, who is winning right now at this moment in time? Is it PlayStation or is it Xbox?
It's PC.
No, is it PlayStation or is it Xbox?
In terms,
you're allowed to have your own opinion, Lawrence. I don't have to agree with you.
I know. There isn't a winner. There is no winner. For me, they're too similar. They're too they've got something to counterpoint against the other, so that it balances itself out. I don't think there is a winner to the showdown.
Which one are you the most interested in?
PlayStation for the controller.
That's your answer. There you go.
Okay. That's your answer. I've been tricked.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've been tricked.
I am also going to say the PlayStation, and my reason is because a lot of the Xbox exclusive titles are going to be also on PC.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, as somebody who has, I have the latest, Nintendo, I have the Switch, I have a PC that I try to keep as up to date as I kind of need it to be, whatever. If I'm going to buy a next gen console, I'm not going to buy an Xbox if I can get those games on the Game Pass for Windows, or something like that. That's something that I have to also consider. Like, the service is almost so good, it's putting me off buying the console.
Yeah. I think when I first saw the Xbox show off, I was like, I do not have a reason to buy this console.
Yeah.
Because you're putting everything on PC.
But if you did,
which is a good thing, but also detriment to them. And I think Xbox is kind of taking that position where they're going away from okay, we need to put everything on our console, and more of, we need to include everyone on this because we are Microsoft. We have PC as well. If we include them, that brings us a lot more money, and it has, and will do.
Yeah, and I think that if you aren't somebody that has a PC, and you do like the variety of games available, then I do think Xbox is still a better play. You have to bear in mind that our perspectives are from the perspectives of people who we have, PCs to play games on, that we invest in.
Yeah.
We have, we do spend our money as gaming enthusiasts on, dabbling in a bit of everything. So we don't necessarily need to get the Xbox stuff, because the Game Pass service is almost what they're selling. They're not selling the hardware. They're selling a service which for PC players is also a very good service. And so I would rather have the PlayStation side of the next gen consoles and get that experience, and still get the experience of the power of a next gen console, while also getting the games and exclusives from the Xbox, and then having a little bit of both. So
putting a question forward,
yeah.
if they are selling the Game Pass like as a main thing for the Xbox, would you count PC part of the Xbox line?
Well, this is another interesting thing because you can also sign up. I think you'll be able to get a subscription for the Xbox that gives you your Xbox Live. It gives you the Game Pass with the EA Play, and you're also paying for the console as part of the subscription. That is the edge that Microsoft has gone for.
Well,
it is a very different, non-traditional approach compared to PlayStation. PlayStation have made it very simple. They changed the number on the end of PlayStation. They've made a box. You can buy the box.
The thing is, PlayStation or Sony they've released this thing called PlayStation Now, which allows you to stream PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and hopefully PlayStation 5 games on the PlayStation or the PC. So Sony have also made that kind of divot into the market.
Do you know what titles are part of that service?
They change the list every month. Let me just double check it now. Ironically, PlayStation Now.
But can you play these games on a PC with an Xbox controller?
Yes. That's the funny part. So currently, Days Gone, which is a PlayStation exclusive, can be played on PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
Hitman 2, Dishonored 2. Yeah, there's just a lot of games and they change it every single month.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Just like Games Pass. So it's the only difference is Game Pass is you install it to your hard drive. PlayStation Now is a streaming service, so you need good internet.
Yeah, so that's the other caveat, isn't it? Is that it's and game streaming right now is just not. I mean, look at the Stadia. Like that is that just proves the market is not there for it.
That's the only thing we don't cover on this podcast is
Stadia. Yeah. So I don't think that game streaming is there right now. I would still consider that separate from what we've been discussing, really. But
you know what I want to know?
What's that?
I want to know what our viewers think of this situation.
I do.
Which one are they going for?
Yeah, so we would like to know whether you guys are in the Xbox camp, the PlayStation camp. We really just want to get to know anybody listening in the Nintendo camp even. And we want to know...
The PC camp.
And we want to know what you think of the show and today's show. So you can do so. First of all, you can do it by email if you want. You can email us at getrealpoduk@gmail.com and make sure in the subject you say it's for Get Real Gaming. And if you want to hit us up on socials, you can do it on Instagram at Get Real Pod, Twitter, Get Real Pod, Facebook, Get Real Pod. We will be there. You can message us anytime or at us at any time. And let us know. Just let us know what you think of this episode as well, because obviously it's our first episode.
All the links will be down in the description as well, so make sure to check those out.
They'll be in the descriptions. And if you did enjoy the episode today, make sure you follow the podcast so you can hear our next episode next week and leave us a review if you do so as well. And we'll read it out on the podcast if it's a good one.
Yeah, we will. We'll have a whole new segment of just review.
Just the review segment. So that's it. That's the end of our first episode of Get Real Gaming. We hope that we covered enough and we covered a lot of stuff that you're interested in. Some news, some rambling. You get to know us a little bit. And we'll be back next week, won't we, Lawrence?
Well, I hope so, unless I'm fired.
Yeah,
unless... then I won't be back next week.
If Sam and Chris cancel us,
then we'll, if we get cancelled.
If we
get cancelled, get on Twitter and be like, bring back the Get Real Gaming podcast.
Absolutely. And don't forget, speaking of Sam and Chris, to head over to the other podcast we do, Get Real. That's Sam and Chris's movies and TVs show podcast, if you're into that stuff as well. So thanks again, everyone. And
thank you very much.
Chat to you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.